Every single day we make dozens of agreements. Accepting a job, sure, but also just buying a coffee or hailing a cab. These feel like simple actions, right? But underneath, they're all governed by this invisible set of legal rules about offers, acceptances, and promises. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and follow the journey that turns a simple idea into a legally binding deal. All right, let's just jump right into it with a situation that I'm sure keeps some people up at night. You finally get that job offer, you write the perfect acceptance email, you hit send, and you feel that wave of relief. But then, just an hour later, your dream job, a way better offer, lands in your inbox. Oh, that sinking feeling in your stomach. Are you locked in? Can you actually take back your yes? Well, the answer to that question, believe it or not, comes down to the very precise second-by-second timing rules we're about to unpack. Okay, so every single agreement, every single contract has to start somewhere. It starts with a spark, which the law calls a proposal. But it's not enough to just think of an offer, or even to just say it out loud to yourself. A proposal is on a journey, and its first and most important destination is the mind of the other person.
So what exactly is a proposal, legally speaking? Well, it's pretty broad. It's basically any action, or even deciding not to do something, that shows you're willing to make a deal. It could be a super formal written offer. It could be you asking a question. It could even be a shop putting a price tag on an item. The key word through all of this, the one that matters most, is communicates. It has to be communicated.
And this is rule number one, and it's so simple but absolutely critical. An offer you make doesn't just spring into existence because you sent it. The law is really clear. The communication of that proposal is only complete when it comes to the knowledge of the person you sent it to. So that job offer email you got, legally, it's just floating in the void until you actually open it and read it. All right, so the offer has been made, it's been received, it's on the table. Now comes the big moment, the acceptance. And this is where the timing gets really fascinating and frankly, a little weird. Because one single yes actually starts two totally different clocks ticking at the very same time.
Yeah, you heard me right. The law actually gets that in the moment someone says yes, the person making the offer and the person accepting it are in completely different positions. So it treats the completion of that yes differently for each of them. It's a two-sided coin, and we need to look at both sides.
This table, right here, this is the whole game. Just focus on that top row, acceptance. For the person who sent the acceptance, the one saying yes, the deal isn't fully locked in for them until the other person knows about it. But for the person who made the original offer, the deal is locked and loaded against them the second that acceptance is sent, the very moment it's out of the sender's control. And that little gap in time, that's a really interesting window of opportunity.
And this phrase right here is the legal core of it all, out of the power of the acceptor. Just think of it like this. It's the legal version of dropping a letter into a mailbox. Once it's in, you can't get it back. Or hitting send on an email. The second you do that, you've lost control. And at that exact moment, the person who made the offer is now bound to the deal. They can't take it back. But, what if you do hit send and immediately get that feeling of dread? What if you have second thoughts? Well, the law has a word for that. Revocation. It's the official term for taking back your offer or even taking back your acceptance. But, and this is a big but, you can't just do it whenever you feel like it. The clock is ticking. This really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Whether you made the offer or you're the one who just said yes, there is a very clear point of no return. And understanding this precise moment isn't just some nerdy legal trivia. It can be the difference between walking away from a bad decision, no harm done, and being locked into a promise you really, really regret. Okay, this timeline lays it all out perfectly. Check it out. The person who made the offer, the proposer, they can change their mind anytime they want, right up until time 2. The second that acceptance is sent, bam, they're locked in. The door is closed for them. But now look at the person who accepted. They're in that weird little window we talked about. Between time 2 and time 3, they can still take back their yes, but only if their revocation, their never mind, gets to the other person before their original acceptance does. It's a literal race against communication. Now, besides someone actively taking back their offer, sometimes an offer can just fizzle out on its own. There are 4 main ways this happens. 1, the proposer can just send a notice saying, hey, never mind. 2, the offer had a deadline and that time runs out. 3, the offer depended on something happening, like I'll hire you if you pass a background check, and that condition isn't met. And finally, a sad but practical one, the offer ends if the person who made it dies and the other person knows about it before they can accept.
So we've talked a lot about when you can accept an offer, but it turns out that how you accept it is just as important. You see, to be a legally perfect yes, your acceptance has to follow a couple of very specific rules. It can't just be any old response.
And this is the big one. Your acceptance has to be a perfect mirror image of the offer. It has to be absolute and unqualified. That means no changes, no additions, no buts, no what ifs. If you change even one tiny thing, you're not actually accepting the offer anymore. This makes it crystal clear. I accept your offer for the car for $10,000. That's a clean, valid acceptance, a done deal. But saying I accept, but you have to throw in the winter tires, that's not an acceptance at all. In the eyes of the law, you've just killed the original offer and made a brand new one, a counteroffer. You've just flipped the whole thing on its head, and now the ball is back in their court to say yes or no to your new terms.
And the last piece of the puzzle is how you communicate your yes. Unless the original offer specifically says, you must reply by carrier pigeon, then your acceptance just needs to be done in a usual and reasonable way. Replying to a formal work email with another email? Perfect. Replying to it with a thumbs up emoji at 3 in the morning? Yeah, probably not going to count as reasonable. Okay, so we've been deep in the world of emails and formal words this whole time. But what's really cool, and what I really want you to take away from this, is that these rules aren't just for lawyers and contracts. They are working all around us every single day in actions we don't even think about. You see, the law recognizes two kinds of promises. There's the express promise, the one you make with words, either spoken or written. That's the one we all think about. But then there's the implied promise, and this is where the real magic is. This is a promise you make entirely with your actions, without ever saying a single word.
And here's where it all connects. Let's take a supermarket. When they put a can of soup on the shelf with a price tag, that's an offer. You don't walk up to the cashier and say, I formally accept your proposal for this can of soup. No, of course not. You just put it on the counter and hand over your money. By performing the condition of the offer, which is paying the price, you have legally accepted it. Your action is your I accept. So just think about your day today. Tapping your card to pay for groceries, getting on the bus, ordering a coffee through an app. Every single one of those moments is an implied promise, a tiny contract that is governed by these exact same rules of offer and acceptance. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many unbreakable, legally binding deals did you make today with just a simple tap or a nod without saying a single word?